most trusted voice in professional wrestling.
Look at this!
More than 4 decades behind the mic.
Plain and simple.
With unrivaled success in broadcasting. From ringside to the boardroom to the New York Times bestsellers list.
What an impact!
Keen insight with a sharp tongue.
And if they're smart, they'll listen.
Westwood One Podcast Network presents The Jim Ross Report. With WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross. And now, the man himself, good old JR.
Hello again, everybody, and thanks for joining us here on the Jim Ross Report. Are you ready for some Slobberknocker audio? I hope so, because I got 2 big handfuls of it right here for you today. First of all, I want to say thanks to all the fans that have made Slobberknocker, My Life in Wrestling, our hardcover book that's been out since last October, the #1 best-selling sports biography on Amazon. And that's a big deal. And I only wish my wife Jan were here to celebrate in the moment as well. She was such an integral part of that project overall. And of course, Paul O'Brien was big time in helping finish it out. Scott Williams, God bless him, and I started, and Scott unfortunately passed away. So we really appreciate everybody that contributed to the project, especially the fans that have bought the book and are still buying the book. Can you believe this? That including pre-orders and the on sale in October, which was fumbled, by the way. We were told the on sale would be at one date, and it was like 2 weeks later. Books were not shipped as they were promised. Nonetheless, all's well that ends well in this world, if you choose for it to be that way, right? The book is doing great. Amazon.com. Terrific. There's some Barnes & Noble. My neighbor wanted me to sign a book for her brother who lives in Toronto, where Slammiversary will be this Sunday, and she couldn't find my book in Oklahoma City or Norman at the Barnes & Noble. So I don't know what the system there is. So if anybody from Barnes & Noble is listening, you're missing sales because people are coming in asking your clerks, oh, yeah, we used to have that book. I don't know why we don't have it anymore. Because you haven't ordered it. Come on. Don't be a moron. So in any event, seriously, Slobberknocker, #1 best-selling sports biography on Amazon. Amazon.com is a good place to go. And so that's going to be kind of cool. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating if you would at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate that very much. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. We got to get to it because we've got a lot of ground to cover, Pilgrim. Here's what's on my mind. A lot of big news items to talk about this week, a lot of big events within the world of professional wrestling that we want to acknowledge and try to help out if we can. That's what we do here. It's not a snarky show, but I got some snarky feedback for some of the fans that went to Pittsburgh on Sunday at Extreme Rules. Wait on that one. And just so many things going on. It's going to be, what a great time to be a wrestling fan, right? We say that here, and I believe that. Let's go back and take a look at some of my quick thoughts on WWE's activities this week. And Extreme Rules on Sunday. They had Raw Monday and, of course, SmackDown Live on Tuesday. Starting with the pay-per-view. Well, isn't it funny to say pay-per-view now when everything's so driven to the WWE Network, which makes all the sense in the world? And, somebody was asking me the other day, do you have that WWE Network at your house? Oh, hell yeah, since day one. Because I figured that $9.99 a month is a whole lot better than buying pay-per-views. And, I mean, mathematically it is. Hell, Jethro Bodine could figure that one out. Naught from naught's naught. So let's start with Extreme Rules, considered by many to be an average show. But it did have some really strong moments, in my view, and also featured some booking that might be considered a head-scratcher by some. There's always that. There will never be a show again on television or that is attended by the smarks, or whatever they're called, young, defiant males primarily, who believe they know more about wrestling than they actually do. But I will say that there was no lack of effort by anyone involved in the process. Even though some of these fans, and media members, by the way, that isn't really something mentioned. But instead, it's the finishes / creative seems to take most of their time and harvest their ire. And it seems like it's every damn week. I don't care who you are. If you're on television with all the information that everybody perceives that they have through social media, etc., we have seen the last days of happiness. By and large, there'll be exceptions to the rule. I get it. I saw on the Observer, Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer, that the New Japan show from the Cow Palace had 0 dislikes on their little poll that they do. I'm sure it's not a little poll, but a poll that they do. So that's unusual. And it shows that there is a audience that no matter what New Japan does, by large or indifferent, they're going to like it. And I'm surprised that as many people were ragging on Josh Barnett and myself after that show, that there would have been more negativity from the feedback people on the Wrestling Observer. But it was not to be that I saw. And if I did see it, who cares? I enjoyed Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title. The match ended in controversy. I got no problem with that. I think that the rules, this reminded me of Shawn and Brett and their Iron Man match in Los Angeles, where we did not cover, I don't believe, during the broadcast, what would happen if the match ended in a draw. So Monsoon comes out in L.A., they start the match, blah, blah, blah. Because it just doesn't seem fair to the champion that new rules are now being added when it's the obligation of the challenger to beat the champion and win the title. One of the championship advantages that's been stated over and over during the years is that there's a championship advantage. The champion can win by a draw or count out or submission. So by adding a new rule at the end of the equation seems kind of unfair to me and unnecessary, quite frankly. But they had a good match. I don't think I'd have closed the show with it, but I'm an old school guy, admittedly. I believe that the richest prize in the WWE, as far as the heirloom, the symbol of greatness in the company, has always been the WWE title. So, I mean, it's just a crazy thing that we all have these different opinions. But I would have closed the show with the best worker in the business, AJ Styles. And that's not taking anything away from Ziggler and Rollins. I just believe in maintaining the integrity of the WWE title, which I believe when it's booked on a card should go on last. That's a personal opinion. That's all. I wasn't real proud of the crowd in Pittsburgh during the AJ Styles-Rusev match. Not the whole crowd, obviously. But some of the defiant young males probably had a couple of beers. Can you imagine how many young guys go to these shows that are under drinking age, and they get their buddies who are drinking age or have a fake ID to go buy the beer, and they get loaded? And as the show goes on, they get more carried away, more brave. It seems that way. I might be wrong. But the crowd, I thought they tried too hard at times to hijack the what I still perceive the main event, AJ and Rusev, made the match less enjoyable to me. It became a big issue on social media. So everything went away thanks to this defiance and the clock not being there. All that overshadowed even the match, which is an embarrassment to me, especially with AJ Styles in the match and Rusev trying to show the world, and he did, that he can be a viable title contender and a main event guy. The fans got to realize, ladies and gentlemen, that these events are for them, but not about them. Come on. You say you love the business. You're passionate. It's your life. Well, then respect it. That's all. These live events on TV, everybody knows when you're on camera, they got it all figured out. The events are for them, but not about them. That was not the case in Pittsburgh on Sunday. Pittsburgh, you're better than that. I thought Reigns and Lashley worked good for me. Better than I expected, quite frankly, because their styles, I didn't know the styles would gel. They did. Nice match. Real good job. I expect Roman Reigns to win Monday night in Cincinnati on Raw and go to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And I would simply, I'm guessing, And maybe there's going to be an off-speed pitch here on both sides of that equation. Maybe it's going to be Lashley. Maybe Lashley loses to Lesnar, or Lashley beats Lesnar. But I think if I'm looking at it now and trying to today, here in July, I'm thinking that Reigns wins on Monday, and he will face Lesnar at SummerSlam and beat Lesnar. We'll see. The never-ending saga of the journey of Roman Reigns continues. I thought that Ronda Rousey made a real nice impact at the event. She's going to be now facing Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. Had this crazy-ass idea. Okay, we know that Alexa has brought out the brilliant Mickie James as her lieutenant, her pal, her BFF, whatever the hell it is. And so what if Alexa wanted to do a little bit more? She's smart, right? What if she did a little bit more digging? Who can I get to help be more of a physical impact? What about Shayna Baszler? What if Alexa Bliss retained the services of Shayna Baszler for SummerSlam? Because everybody knows and can see that Shayna Baszler is a badass. And she's got a huge upside in WWE. And someday the Shayna Baszler Ronda Rousey match will be big. Just an idea. On the surface, Carmella beating Asuka surprised me and raised the ire of some, no doubt. We're going to finish. But I'm kind of confident that when all the smoke clears and settles, that the Empress will be whole once again. She's too damn good to not be. Asuka has got amazing athleticism. She's physical. She's intense. She's mysterious. There's just something exotic about her that's going to keep her coming back and back to your memory, front of mind awareness. And by the way, her one-loss record's not that bad, quite frankly. So we can say, well, she lost on the pay-per-views. Well, quite frankly, there's more people see her win or lose on USA Network than do on the WWE Network, if you're counting pennies. I don't think a tainted loss, if it's sold right by the announcers, hurts you at all. The babyface, Asuka in this case, has got an out. And then finally at Elimination Chamber, my hat goes off to Kevin Owens for doing the Mick Foley, just like it was done 20 years ago in the same city, in a building across the street, I guess, in the old Igloo, Civic Arena. God almighty, that's dangerous. Well, there's no margin for error, is there? And how do you practice that? Or do you? So in any event, Kevin Owens is extremely underrated. He's a very talented guy. If I had a wrestling territory and I could hire Kevin Owens, he'd be on my most wanted list. He's that good. And I like his work. I hope that he will be healthy enough to get back in the ring any moment. I'm sure that he will. So, again, my hat goes off to Kevin Owens. Really one of the unsung stars, quite frankly, off that one big move at the entire Elimination Chamber and the entire Extreme Rules. Then moving on to Raw, I enjoyed Reigns and McIntyre and Balor. Boy, those three guys are really, really good. And that's when I said before that WWE has not got their cupboards, their shelves are not barren. These three guys are all so talented. All could highlight a WrestleMania, headline it. But today, I'm most excited about Drew McIntyre. He was a great guest on the show. You heard a lot of his heart, of his soul, his honesty. If you haven't caught that show, go back and find it. It's awesome. He's awesome. And he's a big-timer. I would think by WrestleMania 2019, next WrestleMania, by the way, if you're keeping score at home, Drew McIntyre should be somewhere very near the top of the card. I thought Paul Heyman's mic work, as usual, was excellent, even though the Lesnar storyline has kind of taken a huge turn where we know that the fans do not want Lesnar to be the champion. They wanted Lesnar stripped. It would have been euphoric for the fans if Brock Lesnar had been stripped in their presence. So, but I can tell you this, the whole story's got a new life now. And it's got people talking and bitching and grumbling. And what ifs, and what about this happens? What if that happens? So that is enough to keep me interested. I hope it's enough to keep you interested as well. because it's going to play out. So if you can't wait to see how it plays out till SummerSlam, then what the hell's wrong with you? I think Bobby Roode would be better served WWE, and in my opinion, as a villain. Natural, body English, facial expressions, everything. He's a natural heel. He should be put in his natural habitat and allowed to feed. Speaking of feeding, Mojo Rawley took some real positive steps in the last few weeks. He keeps taking them. He's winning consistently, and that's a big deal. And he's doing it in a very physical fashion, and that too has my attention. Sarah Logan defeating Ember Moon on Raw, a little bit of a surprise, but a pleasant surprise. I'm a Logan fan, and I also like Ember Moon. So the women's division continues to be very competitive. Anybody can win on any given night. I like that. I like that unpredictability. If this was in New Japan and the underdog or the one that was expected to win won, then it'd be a great booking. Oh, it'd be wonderful. Wow, they're so brilliant. It's amazing. How'd they figure that out? But it wasn't. It was a women's match on Monday Night Raw for WWE. So, ho hum, what have you done for me lately? Sad but true. SmackDown Live. Yes, indeed, man. I'm getting overdosed here. I watched a lot of wrestling this weekend. That's what you get when you're a bachelor now. You know, I got free time and control of the remote. The Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy scenario has my interest. I'm curious. Can't deny it. It's added a personal issue element to the U.S. title picture, which helps everybody involved. Everybody wants to know, what is Randy Orton's motive? What's going on? So, good storytelling. That's soap opera wrestling right there. I like it. And, man, has Randy Orton been vicious. See the difference in that interaction from Randy Orton and the other guys, a lot of the other guys that we see in WWE and elsewhere. Orton's aggression, his ability to be snug but not kill you, is just amazing. Good stuff, Randy. I enjoyed the AJ Andre Almas match. It was solid. Seemed like it came out of nowhere to me because I thought that'd get a bigger build-up. I like Almas a lot, as you could tell. But I think the match is kind of adversely affected with the lack of a build-up for Almas. And I think it may have affected the match. I don't know. Seemed like it might have. I love the facials and the body English of Miss Vega. She's a big plus at ringside for Almas, no doubt. But again, you know, AJ, no matter who he works with, he elevates their game and maintains his own integrity. I love it. That's what pros do. That's what pros do. That's why AJ Styles is the #1 in-ring performer in the world, in my opinion. Good night for Becky Lynch. She's finally back in a title picture, which I think is a good thing. The lovely Irish lass with the amazing cheekbones has finally moved out of being the sidekick of her friend Charlotte, which I think is a good thing for both of these talented ladies. And by the way, Mandy Rose has got a pretty amazing presence on television. Are there too many blondes, too many blonde women with long hair that seems to get longer by the week? I don't know. I like blonde women, by the way. So I don't know if you could have too many for me, but I'm sure some people are wondering, are there too many? That's like I wrote a tweet the other day about men's. Here's the profile of a men's wrestlers. They have wet hair that's kind of long and stringy. They have beards. They have tattoos, and they have orange tans. Somewhere along the way, some of these guys are going to figure out that monkey see, monkey do is not really a great thing for marketing, and that exclusivity and non-duplicity is what they should be seeking. Samoa Joe is wrestling like the beast that he is, and I think Joe is a step or two away from being where many of us Samoa Joe fans want him to be. I love Samoa Joe's work. I like his character. He's a leader. He's a badass. Nothing I like better. And I would embrace him as a future WWE or Universal Champion in a heartbeat. And I would pay money to see Samoa Joe wrestle Brock Lesnar. I know it's too late. Ship sail. I get it. It meant something to me. The Miz continues to be fantastic on the mic and keeps reinventing himself. And, of course, no comfort zone for The Miz. His new show on USA Network starts next week, next Tuesday. I look forward to that, Miz and Mrs. So congratulations to them. And that's what I thought about the 3 days at WWE. I watched them all in my house, on the WWE Network. Enjoyed every minute of it. Big news again, and what's on my mind is the fact that Hulk Hogan's been reinstated. I actually predicted this in a Business Insider feature, which was promptly shared on social media last year. I also appreciate Brandon Kravitz at 96.9 The Game in Orlando for having me on the air to talk about that this week. It's not a surprise. And I don't know how, and look, what Hogan did is just so sad and unnecessary, and what a major mistake. I think he knows that. Now, somewhere down this journey of healing, we find out that Hogan's got a different agenda. Then shame on him. I don't believe that to be true, but I believe that I'm willing to stand back and let this whole process play out and see how it works at the end of the day. I don't know how long we're supposed to punish somebody for doing something so stupid. It was stupidity and ignorance. How long do you get penalized for stupidity and ignorance? It's different now than doing bodily harm to somebody. Hey, I watched a CSI SUV with Mariska Hargitay to understand that. So we hope Hogan has a nice re-entry. I think we have a mailbag question on the Hulkster today, so more on him coming up. But congratulations, I'm glad he's back. Now make me really proud that you're back and do great things. He has an amazing opportunity with his influence and name identity, does Hogan, to leave lasting positive impressions on everybody, no matter their ethnicity. MLW, Courtney Bauer's operation, War Games Concept's going to be on their show Thursday, September the 6th in Fort Lauderdale. All you blue-haired Canadian visitors of the summer, come on down. I'm kidding. Pat Patterson might be there. He lives in Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be at the BN Sports TV taping at the War Memorial Auditorium. Tickets go on sale this Monday, July 23rd. As mentioned, MLW hosts the much-anticipated 40-man Battle Riot. That's on TV Thursday. And I'm sure you can see it in repeat as well subsequently from Thursday, July 19th, New York City, Queens, Melrose Ballroom. But here's the easiest thing to do. If you're interested in MLW, and you should be if you're a wrestling fan, just simply go to MLW.com for card information, building, starting time, tickets, whole 9 yards. I'm excited for my friends at Impact Wrestling, Don Callis and his crew. Big team there, good team, new team. The first Slammiversary ever outside the U.S. is going to be in Toronto on Sunday. And it's at the Rebel Entertainment Complex. Tickets are available online right now at shopimpact.com and at the box office at Rebel Entertainment Complex on Sunday. So, and remember my friends at Fight TV. Remember when we helped launch Fight TV with our podcast 3 years ago? They're going to be carrying it live on pay-per-view. So that's going to be good. The streaming app's great. It's a great piece of business there they got. Impact Wrestling will also be producing wrestling TV there at the same venue the next 2 days after Slammiversary, Monday the 23rd and Tuesday the 24th. I have high expectations for this pay-per-view on Sunday. It's their 16th anniversary that they've been in business, I believe it was, 16 years. But good for them, and I hope they do well. Tessa Blanchard, by the way, speaking of Impact Wrestling, signed a long-term deal. She'll be on the pay-per-view card on Sunday, one of my favorite wrestlers. She's going to be big. I'd like to see her wrestle Charlotte. Four Horsemen, little craziness. Might make sense. So good luck to everybody at Impact Wrestling. And my road producer, Raphael Morphy, will be the showrunner for that event. It'll be run smoothly, I promise you that. It'll be organized. And you guys, if they're in that neck of the woods, Buffalo, Toronto, all through Ontario, go over and support these folks. And tickets are available, and they'll be available at the box office all day on Sunday. That easy. The King and I are getting excited. Well, at our age, it helps for us to get excited occasionally. And I am excited about going to Nashville with Jerry. That's his old stomping grounds at Zany's on Thursday, August 16th for our show, our stage show, JR and the King live. And we're going to take the Voices of the Attitude Era are going to reunite. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to take your questions about the Attitude Era or anything else you want to talk about. And we have a dual meet and greet. You get photo ops and autographs and all that good stuff. I'll have my book there and some barbecue sauce and things. I don't know if the King's going to bring him his barbecue sauce or not, but I am. Also, so tickets, if you're looking for tickets, Zanies.com. Again, August 16th, Zanies in Nashville. August 23rd, both those are Thursdays, by the way, in Rosemont in Chicagoland. And I'm digging that because there'll be great food awaiting me in Chicago for sure. And I will report back on that. Just announced, by the way, the King and I will be guests on a live episode of Talk is Jericho on the mighty Westwood One. The podcast will emanate live from the Jericho Cruise this October, folks, and there's still some cabins available. They're sailing from Miami to the Bahamas, round trip. It's a cool deal. Big matches. Did you see where the Bucks of Youth are going to take on Jericho's Alpha team? I love that. That's a cool deal. The card is going to show the creativity of a lot of guys who have that creative spirit and now the ability to institute it. If you're a real diehard wrestling fan, with all these, there's New Japan guys, I believe, on this cruise. There's Ring of Honor guys, Impact Wrestling people. It's just going to be cool, man. So check it out. ChrisJerichoCruise.com, and don't delay, and we'd love to see you there. The King and I'll be emceeing that. As I said many times, that's much akin to having Larry Flint and the late Hugh Hefner as the chaperones for your kids' prom. Look out. Look out in the Metroplex in Dallas this Saturday, July 21st, Southfork Ranch for World Class Revolution. I'll be there. John Hennigan, who we'll talk to later, Chavo Guerrero, MVP, Scott Steiner, Charlene Tilton, ladies and gentlemen, Little Miss Lucy Ewing, a Dallas TV fame, will be there. The lovely Angelina Love, one of my favorite competitors in the ring. The Von Erichs, Marshall and Ross will be wrestling. Iceman King Parsons will be there making an appearance. My friend Matt Stryker. And tickets are on sale at worldclassprowrestling.com. You got it? worldclassprowrestling.com. And I am assuming all day Saturday at the Southfork Ranch. Southfork Ranch. Who the hell shot JR? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much everything that's on my mind. All right, ladies and gents, Slobberknocker of the week still to come. A lot of good candidates this week. But I want to tell you about one of my great sponsors that I use. And there's very few things that I've ever advertised that I don't use because I don't think it's fair for me to lead you down that road if I haven't walked that road first. I really believe that. And here's the deal, folks. The truth is that most of us are brushing our teeth wrong, not long enough, and forget to change our brush on time. We're lazy. And that's because most brands focus on selling real flashy gimmicks, a gimmick toothbrush. Are you kidding me? Rather than better brushing, but not Quip. So what makes Quip so different? Well, for starters, Quip is an electric toothbrush that's a fraction of the cost of bulkier brushes, while packing just the right amount of vibrations to help clean your teeth. Isn't that the bottom line here? Clean your teeth? Better dental health? I'd think so. Quip's built-in timer helps you clean for the dentist recommended 2 minutes with guiding pulses that remind you when to switch sides. It's that simple. Next, Quip's subscription plans are for your health and not just convenience, even though it is convenient. They deliver new brush heads on a dentist-recommended schedule, meaning every 3 months for just $5. And that includes free shipping worldwide. That's a great deal. And finally, everyone loves Quip. They are on Oprah's O List. They've been named one of Time's best inventions and is the first subscription electric toothbrush, ladies and gentlemen, that is accepted by the American Dental Association. Plus, they're backed by a network of over 20,000 dentists and hygienists, and hundreds of thousands of happy brushers use Quip every single day, just like me. Quip was developed by a very bright Englishman, and I'll be taking my Quip with me and my little shaving kit right over to London for the Comic-Con. I never leave home without it. It's the best toothbrush I've ever used, and I'm finally paying attention to taking better care of my teeth because of the system that's in place. So here is the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/Ross right now, you'll get your first refill pack free with a Quip electric toothbrush. Not a bad deal. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/Ross. It's spelled GETQUIP.com/Ross. This may be the best investment you ever make. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to Slobberknocker of the Week, let me remind you once again that if you follow Amazon Alexa, you're a user of Amazon Alexa, then all you got to do is enable it to the skill at my skill, which is doubtful. But let's just go along with me. Let's play along, will you? Alexa, enable the Jim Ross Report skill. And that's all you got to do. Then when you get it done, when you're in, Alexa, play the Jim Ross Report. It is that easy, ladies and gents. And then if you're a Google Home user out there, just say, okay, Google, talk to the Jim Ross Report. That's all you got to do. So check those out and jump in the modern world with us. Slobberknocker of the Week has an interesting group of candidates this week, including one of our greatest WWE signees ever, Dwayne Johnson, known as The Rock in many circles. Still, he'll always be known as The Rock. Why not? It's a cool name. The Rock visited New York City's New York University Langone Health Center limb loss program, which is cool as hell. That's at the Rusk Rehabilitation Center to surprise patients earlier this week following a screening of his movie Skyscraper, which I saw, and he plays a amputee action hero. It's awesome. I love the movie. I loved Skyscraper because I needed just that escape. I didn't need to be thinking about everything else in my mundane life, and the movie took me out of that. It brought me into their story, and I was emotionally invested in that. So successful mission, and I would encourage you to see Skyscraper if you get the opportunity. And our man he killed it again. He's kicking ass. He may go down in history as the greatest action-adventure hero of all movie and film. I ain't going to bet against him. That's silly. Also, in our Slobberknocker of the Week column, competition, Ring of Honor New Japan booking Madison Square Garden for a live event at WrestleMania week. How ironic is that? All that whole I just said. The WWE and Vince McMahon created WrestleMania. All right, we know that. So now it's back at home base, and Garden. I think Garden. Didn't we had WrestleMania in 1, 10, I know in 20. For that I can think of off the top of my head. Well, that's my chair. It's not me. I promise it's not me. Ring of Honor booking the Garden for a live event WrestleMania week in New York City. As I said, is somewhat ironic. Saturday, April the 6th is going to be their event. I don't know when their tickets are going to go on sale. Somebody said they thought maybe August. I'm not sure. If anybody from Ring of Honor is out there that wants that mentioned or promoted, you might want to yell at me. Or New Japan, yell at me. Interesting time, though. if it's a New Japan event and Access TV is involved, that could be an interesting situation for yours truly. So we'll keep our eye on that. Keep our ear to the ground, as they say. Ring of Honor, New Japan, hey, they're getting out there, man. Great booking for them. And I would assume that it's going to be head up against NXT TakeOver. Boy, there'll be no shortage of great in-ring product in the Big Apple come WrestleMania time. No doubt about it. Kevin Owens, I mentioned earlier about his courage for doing the Mick Foley in Pittsburgh, of all places, 20 years afterwards, of all times. Just amazing. Again, I'm a big Kevin Owens fan, have been all along. I don't worry about his physique. I could give a damn, really. Because I've heard that about myself enough. Oh, JR's old and he's fat. Well, okay, I am. But I can lose weight if I wanted to. I can't get any younger. But Owens is a keeper, man. He's a big-time player. Big-time player. He makes everybody around him in the ring with him better. That's a hell of a trait. And, of course, I couldn't go without saying congratulations on the Slobberknocker of the Week to the country of France for winning their second World Cup last week. Young 19-year-old star. This kid donates his World Cup salary, which I read was close to $500,000, to sports programs for disabled kids. And I guess you can do that when you earn $20 million a year on your club team, Paris Saint-Germain. He's also the first teenager to score in a World Cup final since Pele in 1958. God. I was a young kid. I was a young buck then. And France's manager, he's an interesting cat too. He was France's captain as a player in 1998 when they won the World Cup. 20 years later, he's the coach. So nice story there. And it's glad that the coach is still a young dude, 49 years of age. So congratulations to France. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do here on my Slobberknocker of the Week. I got to give it to Kevin Owens. He did maybe the most memorable thing in the entire pay-per-view. He took his career in his own hands and said, I'll do it. Because he didn't have to do that bump. He has an option not to do that. Most talents don't want to not do it. A lot of them just have the spirit of doing it or don't want the challenge of saying, like, you can't do it. And a lot of guys are paranoid not to do it. Kevin Owens is a keeper. I'm really a big fan, as I said, and he is our Slobberknocker of the Week. Well, Pet Coon Goofy is still to come, but you're not Pet Coon Goofy if you are a fan of Omaha Steaks, as am I. Summer is here, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt about that, buddy. It has been hot in Oklahoma, but not too hot to grill. And what better way to kick off grilling season than buying your own Omaha Steaks package? Grill together and enjoy 24 of the butcher's favorites with a grill-ready collection for, get this, $39.99. I got to tell you, I have used Omaha Steaks for many years, long before they became a sponsor. I have long used Omaha Steaks as a great source of gifts, anniversaries, birthdays, thank yous, all kinds of things. It's just amazing how many people that I've made happy through Omaha Steaks. And I make myself the happiest because I use them all the time. I cooked out 3 times in the last week, and Omaha Steaks on the menu every single time. My guests love it. I was telling somebody the other day that when I have company over now, they want to know what I'm cooking from Omaha Steaks. They're spoiled. I spoiled them, folks. I spoiled them, I say. I think you're going to love this package. You may ask me why Omaha Steaks. Well, let me tell you why Omaha Steaks. Number one, it's a wonderful company that gives a damn about customer service. I have never had the first problem with customer service from Omaha Steaks. They have a great variety of products. I mean, it might be beef you want. It might be bison. It could be fresh frozen seafood, poultry, pork, veal, lamb, vegetables, and desserts. Did you know that? They're not just a steak company, even though that ain't bad. They give you the opportunity, folks, to customize your order. So if you really love something and you really are not that crazy about something else, then don't order something else. You can customize your order and make it exactly what you want and what you need for your special occasion. And when you talk about quality, there's no higher quality across the board than you get from Omaha Steaks. So here's the thing, folks. Here's what's really important. Remember this. Listen to this. Omaha Steaks right now is giving a limited time offer to our listeners for the summer. All you got to do is go to omahasteaks.com, type Ross in the search bar, and you can get the Omaha Steaks Grill Ready Collection for the unheard of low price of $39.99. That's 80% off. 80% off, and here's what you're going to get for your 80% savings. 2 tender filet mignons, 2 beefy top sirloins, 4 juicy boneless pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 all-beef Omaha steak burgers, 4 traditional kielbasa sausages, 4 traditional kielbasa sausages. Boy, they're good on the grill, too. 4 award-winning gourmet jumbo franks, 1 Omaha Steaks seasoning packet, plus get 4 made-from-scratch caramel apple tartlets for free. Man, we can't make it any better than this. Again, get this limited-time package for our listeners for only $39.99 when you go to omahasteaks.com. Type Ross in the search bar and add the Grill Ready Collection to your cart. You will be so happy. You'll be euphoric. Again, for your family, for your friends, for gifts, a million ways to use Omaha Steaks and make people happy and fill them up. Don't wait, folks. You want to get this offer soon, no doubt, in time for the summer grilling season, and then grab your friends and family and fire up that grill, baby.
Apparently they have a pet raccoon that got into their mouth.
Oh, son of a bitch!
It's Pet Coon Goofy time, ladies and gents. And before I get there, remember, Dallas this Saturday night, Southfork Ranch, Who Shot JR? We'll find out Saturday. Great wrestling show. I'll have my sauces and all the condiments and beef jerky, books for sale there as well. I'll be signing stuff. So come on by. Southfork Ranch, worldclassprowrestling.com has your tickets. A lot of candidates this week, folks, for the old Pet Coon Goofy Award. The whole entire Helsinki in a Cage Summit, the Helsinki in a Cell, whatever you want to call it, was a cluster. The United States president and the Russian president. Look, who's zooming who here? Who's the best worker of those two? This looked bad, felt bad. It's funny how only a small group of the president of the United States' president and his party, not even all of his party, were about the only people that thought it was not embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And you just got to wonder how this is going to play out, because something just doesn't meet my eye in that one. Here's a dandy. This is producer Raphael's. He loves this. He's our resident baseball expert because he played at Boston College. A little weird that a player who's hitting .214 for the season, by the way, Washington Nationals outfielder Bryce Harper, he of great hair, is given such overhyped pomp and circumstance and fanfare during the MLB All-Star Game Home Run Derby. He's hitting .214 now, but he's a hero. He's a star. He's got great hair. He's got great lining in his sport coats. He's lauded winning a meaningless event in front of a hometown crowd in D.C., which hosted the All-Star Game. And did a nice job, by the way. But not much is said when he dogs it. How can he idolize a guy who has nice hair and nice lining in his jackets for the red carpet when he dogs it to first base on a ground ball in New York versus the Mets last week? Bottom line is this. The entire home run derby felt force-fed and just felt like it was the Bryce Harper show. And he is going to be a free agent. So good luck, Washington. And now he might be hitting above 214 now. I don't know. But the guy's got to hustle, son. Don't phone nothing in. You can't pick your spots to be a player. You can't pick your spots to hustle. Big-time players, the character, and not entitled little rich voice. Because this kid's rich, and he's a hell of a player. He has a chance to be one of the best of all time, but he needs to play like that. And not guys that want to be in that category and that described that way don't hit 214. Come on, Bryce. But I do like your hair. Well, 46-year-old seldom seen actor David Arquette seems to be trying to, become an actual wrestler. At least that's what some people tell me. I haven't followed that closely. He's been in a lot of independent shows lately. After his he had a very pan run at WCW as a world heavyweight champion. Didn't agree with that, but who cares? If I wasn't there, it's creative again, right? So none of us agree with creative more often than not. So here I am, the pot calling the kettle black. And the word on the street is he's trying to chronicle this journey for a TV show. Wouldn't be surprised. He also wants to expose a little bit more about the back scene elements of wrestling. God, do we need to know more? Do we need to know more? Are you kidding me? Does he want to help the business or does he want to shade the business? Or just get himself over? I don't know. But, and I wonder if he's trying to be another Andy Kaufman. Interesting. Might work. I don't know. But seems a little pet coon goofy to me. MGM Resorts International. Well, these dudes. This is where that tragedy that all those people were butchered and slaughtered in that deadly rampage last year from the Las Vegas shooter named Stephen Paddock. And they filed a suit, ladies and gentlemen, against the more than 1,000 victims at their hotel facility at that concert to avoid liability. What the hell? That is one of the boldest, the ballsiest legal moves, playing the system to save your ass and your money than I could ever imagine. MGM Resorts filed a lawsuit in Nevada and California this week against victims of the 2017 mass shooting. The deadliest, by the way, in U.S. history. So the lawsuit will argue that MGM cannot be held responsible for deaths, injuries, or other damages stemming from the shooting, and says all their claims against the company must be dismissed. I would say this to the MGM Grand: you must kiss my ass. How's that? And that's what I would say. That's embarrassing. Why people now? You think the average guy, like us, listen here, want to go to Vegas and stay at the MGM Grand or MGM Resorts International, whatever the hell it's called? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to save their money. So somebody will send me some feedback on Twitter at JRSBBQ and will take me to the woodshed because, well, they have the right to try to save their money. No, they have a right. Yeah, they do. They do. They have a bigger right to do what's right. Do what's the best for those that suffered because of your lack of security, which many people are saying existed. Papa John, what an idiot this guy is. He's got a bad eye job. He looks like a phony guy. He's created a great brand. You love what he's done. I love what he's done as an entrepreneur, but not as humanitarian. You don't bounce around the N-word if you got some character and you got a little class. Apparently, this dude is lacking both. He's getting hammered now. So a lot of big teams, a lot of big sponsors are saying adios, Papa John's. I will not buy their pizza either. Sorry, that's how I work. If you don't like the way somebody's doing something, instead of just getting on a platform like this or social media and bitching and moaning, I got a solution for me. I just ain't buying no damn Papa John's pizza. How's that? Now I can hear somebody from the mighty Westwood One say, "Oh, JR, we were this close in a deal with Papa John's. You killed it." I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest here, or not do it. And then also on my list of candidates for the Pet Coon Goofy Award, many in the wrestling business, in the media of wrestling, who actually thought that what happened to me in the Cow Palace at San Francisco was planned and a part of a bigger storyline. Are you kidding me? Come on. And I read from some really respected guys that have been doing this for a long time that cast doubt on the authenticity of what happened. God. I don't know, man. If something's going around, something's in the water here. How could you think that? Not true. But by the way, I am feeling better. I'm having problems sleeping, but no big deal. I've been sleeping in my chair, so that's better. And I don't mind that. So I'm feeling better, still a little sore. Hell, I'm 66 years old. So I think the young lad, Juice Robinson, called me 70. Come on, kid. Don't take those 4 years away from me. He had a hell of a night there. Hell of a night. Got over. And Jay White got over. Good. They're good kids. They made a mistake. But the first mistake was not hooking the security railing around the ring together. I don't have any idea why that wasn't done. And how that slipped by everybody is astonishing. So it wasn't an angle. It wasn't written in the show. It wasn't discussed beforehand. And I did get injured, but I'm getting better. But the bottom line at this point is not me, the injury. It's the fact that some people who I believe to be very, very smart within the business actually bought in that it was an angle. Shame on you guys. So I'm going to say this week, you've heard the candidates, Pet Coon Goofy. I am going to go this week. I'm making a decision right here, right now, that nothing can top the worldwide impact of a cluster like the Helsinki summit between Trump and Putin. Something's going to happen out of this, and you just got to wonder who's working who. And I just hope it ends well. I really do. So, Helsinki summit, congratulations. You're Pet Coon Goofy.
Strategy my Oklahoma ass.
Well, it's this week in wrestling time, kids. And but remember, before we get there, that I'm going to be in London for the London Film and Comic Con, July 27, 28, and 29. Love to see you there. I'll be there all day, all 3 days of a very star-studded event, including my favorite female wrestler, Gail Kim, who will be there, and a lot of really eclectic and name-worthy talents, wrestling talents, that you can meet, get your autographs, pictures, whole 9 yards. Love to see you there. And this week in wrestling, interesting things. I like the Jim Crockett Promotions NWA Great American Bash, 25,000 on hand, reportedly, at American Legion Stadium. 31 years ago, Dusty Rhodes defeats Tully Blanchard in a lights-out, barbed wire ladder match where a bag of money with $100,000, wink, wink, was hung over the ring. That was a big deal. Here's the thing. Dusty booked that story to add a personal issue element, strong personal issue element, along with the title. The perfect combination when you could find when the stars align. I remember that show. It was really fun. Then 29 years ago, the Great American Bash was in Baltimore, owned by Jimmy's Seafood, my favorite seafood place in the world. Jimmy's in Baltimore. Crab Cake Johnny, can't beat him, man. They've got the best crab cakes I've ever had in my life, seriously. But one thing that stands out about the Great American Bash in Baltimore was a match that was much better. Now, I ain't saying it's Flair and Steamboat now, 5 stars or 7 stars or whatever, I don't know, was a tuxedo match involving Jim Cornette as he defeated Paul E. Dangerously. A lot of people thought that would be so poor because of the competitors being not experienced, not really that athletic. And it was much better than we anticipated. And that's because you got 2 of the most intelligent, two of the smartest guys in the business laying it out in Heyman and Cornette. The War Games match that year, the Road Warriors, Bobby Eaton, Stan Lanes, Dr. Dusty Williams defeated Freebirds Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy. Jimmy Garvin, Fatu, and Samu. So that was a nice show, too. I remember, but the tuxedo match kind of really sticks in my memory in a good way. 16 years ago, at the Vengeance pay-per-view, the great one, The Rock, again, check out his movie Skyscrapers. It's really exciting. And it'll take you out of your bullshit day and put you in your mind frame that you're going to enjoy during the running of the movie. It's just really good. But The Rock became the undisputed WWE heavyweight champion, defeating The Undertaker and Kurt Angle. And that was a big night for the great one. July 21st, 2002. Hard to believe. Gosh, 16 years ago. Woo. 13 years ago, on July 21st, 2005, the great Lord Alfred Hayes passed away. I've often thought that Lord Alfred should probably be in the Hall of Fame. I still kind of think that. I had a lot of respect for Alfred as a talent. You know, we used to get wrestling out of Joplin, Missouri when I was a kid, a young man growing up, on the antenna. And Alfred was a great heel in the Central States. Good talker, tough guy, legit tough guy. Judo Al Hayes, didn't screw around. We weren't always that friendly until we had an intervention by the great Gorilla Monsoon, and we got it all patched up. And I admired Alfred, and I never did not like him. He just didn't like me because he thought I was trying to take Monsoon's job. And then we had Bobby Heenan, Alfred, and I worked my first big international show for WWE in Sheffield, England, that year as well. And that was in 93, I think. Yeah, 93. And Alfred passed away in 2005. Lord Alfred loved his wine and his women. The Great American Bash 11 years ago saw the Cruiserweight title addressed in what would be almost a comedy role. And I didn't understand that wholeheartedly because of the talents involved. Here's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me started. You know what I'm saying. Why do people say that all the time? You know what I'm saying? Hornswoggle became the Cruiserweight champion, defeating these guys: Chavo Guerrero, Jamie Noble, Jimmy Wang, Yang, Shannon Moore, and Funaki, SmackDown's #1 announcer. A lot of good wrestlers there, and it was a shocker. But Hornswoggle may be the best performer, I don't know, of the group. Who knows? It's all subjective. Is there really a right answer? But I think it took the Cruiserweight title down a unique road for a while. But I've always liked the Cruiserweights, and if the Cruiserweight division is in a better place now, in my opinion, than it was then. And that's a good thing. Birthday time, kids, birthday time. Get the ice cream, the cake out. Cake and ice cream, one of my favorite things today. And, of course, my diabetes 2 issues don't really embrace that. I can't tell you the last time I had cake and ice cream, for God's sakes. Birthdays, some good ones here. We're going to be talking to John Hennigan in a few minutes. His birthday, July the 18th, 39 years old. Man, this kid. And what do you hear his schedule? We'll talk to him in a few moments. Joey Mercury was former backstage producer for WWE, former tag team competitor. He's now at MCW with all the great guys there in Maryland. Danny McDivitt and all his crew. Sean Creedle. Good people, good friends of mine, like family to me. And Joey does a good job. Hal Snow. Hal. He's 55 years old this week, and a good dude, great teacher, good coach, and still keeps in great shape, as you can tell by his 8x10s. And he also is involved in the Collar and Elbow brand. And he sent me some shirts, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Hal. I called him, I know his name is Al, I get it, but we've called him Hal for a long time, and I have no reason why, other than just basic ignorance. WWE Hall of Famer Carlos Colon, 70 years old this week. And we still haven't prosecuted the murder of Bruiser Brody. Former WWE champion Jinder Mahal is 33. He's just getting there. He's got a lot of good years left. He can stay injury free. He's really done a good job at reinventing himself, and I appreciate that as a fan. WWE Hall of Famer and one of the greatest tag teams I've ever seen, Robert Gibson, remember the Rock and Roll Express, 60 years old this week. Now, I remember coming to do a promo in Shreveport on a non-TV week. We're just doing the promos. The guys are coming in from some town the night before. It's on a Wednesday morning. A lot of sleepy in the eyes of these big men. And Robert comes up to do an interview. We were going to talk about the Midnight Express or somebody for the local inserts. And he cuts a fart, man, that would have brought tears to a glass eye. It was sick. And he did it, and he moved to the other side of where I was standing. So that means when Ricky came in, Ricky Morton, he stood in the spot where the fart dropped. And so I'm trying to, Watts is counting pennies here. Every minute's money, right? And it is. So I start my interview with, well, it's a smelly situation, gentlemen. This Midnight Express issue is getting worse and worse by the week, something like that. And then it broke up the room because everybody smelt the Robert's work of art. And that really pissed Bill off because now I'm screwing up more time. It's funny, little things you remember. I will say this. The Rock and Roll Express I've never seen a tag team better. Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express goes right there with the same conversation with Patterson and Stevens, Arn and Tully, all those dudes. And I'm leaving out a ton of guys. Because in that era, tag team wrestling was main event stuff. Tag team wrestling could be used to sell a lot of tickets. And it seems like right now that tag team wrestling and the smaller guys, cruiserweights, or junior heavyweights, whatever, not so much. That's not a good thing. The late Bob Orton Sr. would have been 89. Man, he's like the Secretariat, right? His son, Bob Orton Jr., his grandson, we talked about Randy a little earlier. Good genes, everybody. Good genes. I went down to Dallas one time to an event, and there was a Loser Leave Town match, and I think that Bob Sr. was under a mask. I think now. But here, the story is this. It was a Loser Leave Town match, and when my buddies and I, we were working and doing some construction work, that we noticed that a U-Haul, a U-Haul trailer was attached to a vehicle. And so when the matches are over, we kind of hung around in the shadows like, goofy marks and whatever that word is really means. But we were just, interested fans. We kind of could get our own way. And guess who drove away in the U-Haul? The guy that lost the Loser Leave Town match, Bob Orton Sr. Well, that would have killed Cowboy. Oh, you got a kayfabe, you son of a bitch. It's also Dr. Sean Stasiak's birthday, a.k.a. Meat, 48 years old. Still looks great. He's a chiropractor in the Dallas Metroplex. And wouldn't mind seeing old Sean sometime down there on one of our trips, like this Saturday at Southfork Ranch. Fandango's 31. I love this kid's upside. I really do. I have for a long time. I want to wish him get well from his recent surgery. I think he's got significant upside. I really do. He's a good-looking kid, athletic, tall enough to work with anybody comfortably. And then you got one of the greatest of all time, folks. His birthday's coming up this weekend. The great Shawn Michaels, 53 years of age. I mentioned Robert Gibson earlier. When Shawn got in the business, when Jose Lothario got Shawn booked for Cowboy Bill Watts in Mid-South, Shawn rode with Ricky and Robert. And I swear to you, I really believe, and I think Shawn would agree with this, that him traveling with Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express, was a great learning experience for him. Those car trips could be classrooms on wheels. I don't know, and I might be wrong about this, I'm not sure that we get that classroom environment as much now, because guys now they know what they're going to make by and large. The pressure of drawing or getting better is kind of lessened. And back in those days, with the rock and roll or riding along with Shawn Michaels, you got to keep fresh and new ideas, because you're only getting paid on what you draw. So Shawn's 53, as good as I ever saw in my life, really and truly, as good as I ever saw in my life. And I'm so blessed that I was able to see in their real prime, like guys like Flair, who I exchanged some messages. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And Shawn, gosh, what a run I had with talent. I got the right place at the right time. Really, really lucky. Very blessed. So also this weekend, David Von Erich would have been 60, if you can believe that. 60 years of age. Amazing. He had a great mind. Would have been an NWA champion, no doubt. Would have been a great booker, no doubt. He's missed. Left us way too soon and unnecessarily. And then the oldest birthday we celebrate this week, 95 years young, would have been the great Moolah, Lillian Ellison. She's a Hall of Famer. You know, she's been positioned everything from a saint to the Tony Soprano of women's wrestling. I guess it just depends on, your own interaction with Moolah. I've never been a woman, believe it or not. I've never been a wrestler, believe it or not. I know that's really challenging to perceive, me being a female wrestler, but I always treat people how they treat me. It's real simple. They're very simple. And she treated me fine. I was always darling. And she remembered me from Leroy McGurk's wrestling office, things of that nature. So no issues with me with Moolah. Leroy would say, "Hi, Moo." I remember those days so well. On Monday, July 23rd, the great Zack Sabre Jr. will celebrate his 31st birthday. And man, I'll tell you something, folks. If this son of a gun can stay healthy, the sky is the limit for him. I promise you. He's got it. And he proves that you don't have to be a muscle and fitness cover model to get on, to be a star. He's athletic. He's in great shape. I really love watching him compete, perform. Really good. Zack Sabre Jr., if you have a great birthday. And if you're in London on the 27th, 28th, and 29th, come see me at the London Comic Con. The late Pero Aguayo Jr., he would have turned 39. Isn't that something? His birthday would be Monday. A really charismatic kid. Tragically passed away in the ring a few years back in Mexico City. In Mexico, in a freak injury. Just sad that some of these things happen. But that's life, right? This is not just wrestling. It happens every day. And then finally, we end it with a beautiful note. We end it with a very sexy note. Because on Tuesday, Tori Wilson will celebrate her 43rd birthday. And I will guarantee you, she is the most beautiful person to celebrate a birthday this week on the Jim Ross Report. The cake is on me.
Look at this!
All right, here we go. Hey, what time is it, Stu?
It's, Calgary, it's mailbag time.
And it's mailbag time here, by the way, sir. And folks, remember, you can email us at the Jim Ross Report at gmail.com and submit your questions for this portion of the program, or suggestions or guest ideas or topic ideas, whatever you want to throw at us at the Jim Ross Report at gmail.com. And thanks, Stu Hart, for dropping by. Love Stu. From Aaron in Green Bay. Hey, Jim, just wanted to see if you heard the quick shout out that Joe Rogan gave you on his podcast. Just a couple of nice things about your sauce. I did not, but I'll reach out to Joe and thank him. He's got a hell of a podcast. I can only aspire to be Joe Rogan someday, the other JR, the big JR at podcasting. We're getting there, Joe. I love Joe Rogan's work, too, by the way. I didn't hear it, but I'll thank him. Mark Golden wants to know, please book my favorite tag team, The Revival. I'd love to hear them talk with me, and I would love to talk to them. Here's the thing about those interviews. I need to do that where I get them in a studio, because there's two of them, one of me. And on the phone, you got to make sure everybody's on the same page. It's hard. It's really hard. And so, but I love the idea, Mark, and we'll try to do that somewhere down the road when we can get those two lads in a room with me, and we'll chop it up for you. And this from Craig Briscoe in Jackson, Tennessee. I wonder if he's any relation to the world-famous Jack and Jerry Briscoe, the Chickasaw Native Americans from Oklahoma. But Craig lives in Jackson, Tennessee, the same town as my friend Steve Beverly. He says, I understand WWE Universe's desire to reject what they feel is being force-fed to them. However, from my viewpoint, Roman Reigns gives 100% effort in every match he's in. He has the look, the genes, and what I can tell, the talent to be a legend. What am I missing? I don't think, Craig, you're missing anything. I just think it's almost like when Angle comes out, it's, you suck, Cena sucks. I think people think it's the thing to do, and they're not hip or cool if they don't do it, as evidenced by the crowd looking to do a hostile takeover in Pittsburgh on Sunday night. Wasn't too crazy about it. So I don't think you're missing anything, Craig. I just think it's a topical thing, and people think it's cool. And that's the best answer I got for you, because I don't know why it would be. And nobody can tell us why exactly it is. We all got a theory. So, and that's all it is. Let it play out. And I had a little experience in talent relations. I would have no issues hiring Roman Reigns today, even if I knew what adventure would be ahead of us. He's that big a talent. Mike in Toronto wants to say hello. Hi, Mike. My question today regards Hulk Hogan. Now that it's official, WWE has announced his reinstatement to the WWE Hall of Fame. What role will Hogan have going forward? Well, it's sounding like an asshole here, but he'll probably have a Hall of Fame role. PR, he's got a lot of ground to cover. He's got some fences to mend, some bridges to repair, but that can be done. I don't see him wrestling again. He's 65 years old. Now, I'm not knocking the guy. It's like, well, JR, look at you. Look, I'm not Hulk Hogan. Never even played him on television. I would see Hogan, could Hogan have a one-off somewhere? Of course he could. Where would you do that at? Well, hell, you do it in New York City at WrestleMania. That's what you do. But is that what you really need to do? He's not 100, he's bad back. He's a war horse, man. He's been battered and beat up. So I think he'll be more of a PR role, but I'm glad that he's back, and gives him more motivation to make himself better, without a doubt. So thanks for your question. Kenneth Clark wants to know, his question is, do you feel the booking of Asuka as of late has been poor? It's been controversial, no doubt about that, Kenneth. I don't believe that a fluke loss sets anybody back to a place they can't recover from whatsoever. And I think that the fact that one of the things that maybe hurt Asuka was that if she had lost to someone that the fans believed to have more credibility in the ring bell to bell than Carmella is perceived to have, whether that be right or wrong, there'd be less of this, pissing outside the tent thing. So I think that Carmella in the post-game show that I watched on the Extreme Rules, she inadvertently gathered some go-away heat. She was over the top. It was awkward, in my view. I understand, I appreciate her enthusiasm, but she kind of got went to business for herself, it seemed like. And I think that kind of turned some people off. It didn't sound really WWE-ish. And this young woman has improved a lot. She's got a great look, really does. She loves being a heel. That means a lot. So this is not a knock on Carmella. It's just the fact that everybody had this wonderful expectations of Asuka, who just a few months ago at WrestleMania was in one of the most desired and eagerly anticipated matches of the night against Charlotte. So I think the go-away heat had an issue there with Asuka being, looked at this whole situation, looked at it so negatively. And there's a fine line, folks, between villain heat and go-away heat. Fine line. And I think that we saw that the other side of that line, not the good side of that line, in the Extreme Rules post-game show. She might have been just a little bit over the top. That's all I'm saying. But I think that Asuka is a gem. She's exotic. She's a battler. She's a real keeper. And I think the cream will rise to the top. I'm very optimistic about a lot of things in life, but I really believe that Asuka is going to be in fine shape over the long haul. Please be patient. And if you can't be patient, then just change the goddamn channel. And finally, from Chris Hathaway in West Covina, California, he says, "Hey, JR, I was wondering, are you and the King planning on doing any shows or meet and greets in the Los Angeles area in the future?" Absolutely. And Chris also says, P.S., loves our show, and thank you for being in New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access TV. It's my honor. I appreciate the work, and I respect the talents and the brand and the network. It's just I'm lucky guy to be booked. Happy about it. So the answer is yes. We do plan on playing in the Los Angeles area. We should know soon. You'll be the first to know, Chris. I'll probably try to have it right here on the show when we get all that stuff finalized. Until then, JR and the King live in Nashville Zanies, August 16th, and the Rosemont Zanies, August 23rd. Love to see you there. And that is this week's mailbag. You know, a lot of times we talk about the busiest men in show business, the busiest men you know. If you can tell me somebody that's busier than John Hennigan, you might know him as Johnny Impact. Hell, he may be known as Johnny Survivor before it's all said and done. I don't know. But this weekend he's going to be known for being all over the country, including I'll see you on a Saturday, John, at the Southfork Ranch. How are you doing? And by the way, congratulations on getting married. It's a little bit bigger issue than where you're booked. Congratulations.
You know what? You know, thanks, JR. Yeah, nothing. I don't think anything in life is as important as getting married. And it took me a long time to find Taya, Remy, and Kira. But I'm glad I did, and we found each other at the right time. And I'm probably more excited about that than anything else.
As you should be, young man, as you should be. You had good raising because you got your priorities straight. And by the way, your bride is also a competitor in the ring, and so can we expect to see maybe a mixed tag match somewhere down the road?
I love doing stuff in the ring with Taya. She's talented as far as a mixed tag down the road. Absolutely. We actually wrestled each other last week in a first ever husband versus wife dirty dishes match for a promotion called Nuclear Heat. But she will also be at the show this Saturday, the Wrestling Revolution show at Southfork, the place that they filmed at Dallas, which is exciting. Right. This is the first ever show that's going to be filmed at that ranch.
I'll be there too, because you can't have Who Shot JR without JR being there, right? That's about as organic a booking as you can make. You know, Who Shot JR? Nobody, I'm over here.
Itself. Except, wait a minute, JR's still there.
I'm still here, believe it or not. Much to the chagrin of some of our hardcore New Japan fans, but I'm still here. You worked for Rey Mysterio's Aero Lucha promotion this year. You're on Wednesday nights on 8 p.m. Eastern on Lucha Underground on the El Rey Network.
Tonight, actually, one of my best matches of the season on Lucha Underground. It's Johnny Mundo versus Deborah. First time ever in a one-on-one match against him. And if you're a fan of Lucha, if you're a fan of wrestling, I think tonight's episode is one you don't want to miss.
The debut episode always drops on Wednesday night, folks, 8 o'clock Eastern time on the El Rey Network. I'm a big fan. I like Vampiro and Matt Stryker together. I think they are just perfect for that show. And, of course, Chris DeJoseph, DJ, one of my old WWE buddies, does a good job there too. And then you've been on MLW's Fusion TV show on Friday nights. You're going to be in Queens this Thursday for one of their big TV tapings.
We're here right now. Actually, we're doing some pre-tapes and tapings for MLW here in New York. There's a bunch of great guys all here. I don't want to give away any surprises, but MLW is picking up a lot of steam, and it's a really fun show.
Well, you might as well give away some surprises, John, because you know it's going to be leaked, and everybody will get a scoop on the internet. No, I don't need it. I'm kidding. I really am kidding. I don't need to know. I want to watch and be surprised like everybody else, right? Why not?
Yeah. But there's so much stuff going on, it's hard to keep track of everything anyway. It's
exactly. How have your experiences been in MLW? Because you've been there almost since the court kind of got it rolling. That's a better question. What's the difference, in your opinion, this wrestling television show and others that you wrestle on?
Since I started at MLW, it's pretty cool because I haven't been at every single show, but I've been there. I've been here from the beginning, and I've seen the evolution of the show. And the first one that I was on, I had an awesome match, me and Shane Strickland versus Jimmy Havoc and Darby Allin. They did a good job filming it. It was professional, but you could tell that it was a fledgling promotion. I come back, and now they've got MLW banners. They've got I want to say a 10-camera setup. It seemed like at that Guilt nightclub in Orlando. And now here we are in New York, gearing up for the first taping of MLW in New York. And they've got an entire room filled with production equipment, a staff of writers, producers, agents. And I think one of the things they're doing right is involving guys like me, but involving guys like Kevin Sullivan, Bruce Pritchard, Alex Greenfield, and Court, Tommy Dreamer, and myself. A lot of old school wrestling minds that understand the business, and then adding in your new school guys, your Sammy Callahans, your Shane Stricklands, and I think the best wrestling is a blend of old school and new school, and that's what's happening at MLW.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. I think you're right. It's like the universe is not only geographically bigger than it's ever been in my lifetime as a fan, which supersedes your lifetime as a fan because I'm a hell of a lot older than you.
Right.
But the issue is that it's not just there are three items on the buffet. You got to have a few more items anymore to get everybody to come and want to graze and partake. You know.
I think that's a great analogy, a great way to explain it. Absolutely.
I'm glad that, of course, using Low Key. Low Key's been one of the more underrated guys. I don't know what the hell happened along the way. He's just too good not to get some recognition and get some TV time. And I'm sure you'd agree because you guys have got you got an outing with him coming up, and that should be one hell of a match. He's
the current MLW champion, and the match tomorrow night is me versus him. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you hear the term overlooked, underbooked, thrown around in wrestling a lot, but when someone says to me the name Loki, I mean, he's someone that's been around forever and has been on top of his game forever. I mean, the stuff that he was doing with Amazing Red and Ring of Honor 18 years ago is still cutting edge. If you look at what he did then and compare that to what guys are doing now, he was so far ahead of his time then, and he's still performing at that high level now. It's almost unbelievable to think about his body of work.
I've always thought that Low Key would be a great voiceover guy. He's got those big pipes, you know. And he doesn't look like
I swear, I asked him, last time I was talking to him, I told him if I ever did another Boone the Bounty Hunter movie that he needed to do the trailer voice for it, because I couldn't agree with you more.
It's very distinctive and memorable, which is what you want to have as a broadcaster or a talent where you're using your voice, is to be able to cut through the clutter, cut through the bullshit, and so you can be heard in your message. If it's the right message, then it can be potentially retained. Simple deal.
And there's a ton of people that imitate Loki, and I think I believe imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, because his voice is something that sticks with you, and I think it's a great asset for him.
He's a good guy, and I know a lot of folks are talking about the Battle Riot match, 40 guys, and it's kind of got a Royal Rumble feel. Doesn't matter, but it's a unique 40 guys. It'll be a first-ever situation for fans there, and I hope folks will check it out. MLW.com is how to get tickets. And then I'm going to see you in Dallas on Saturday night at the Southfork Ranch. Miss Lucy, the darling of the Dallas television show, will be making an appearance at the event. I have no idea what she's doing. She will not be giving me any bumps. I can promise you that.
She seems very comfortable in the promo advertising the show. She clearly knows what she's doing in front of the camera. I got to hand it to Jerry Bostic, because he definitely thinks way outside the box. And to put on a show called Who Shot JR, the Dallas Ranch, it seems like such a great idea. I'm surprised no one has thought of it before, but it also, to me, when Jerry called me and told me about it, I thought, you know what, is classic Jerry. This is exactly the kind of thing that he would think up, some crazy scheme that I think is going to turn into an amazing show.
I hope so, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. I'm sure as will you. I'm going to be selling some 8x10s and barbecue sauce and jerky and all books and all those things, and they always make room for
sauce.
Good. I'll take care of you. And they have a nice they have nice areas for merch. The fans can come and interact with the talent. They can buy things and have a little chat and then enjoy the wrestling show. And it's a family type environment as well. It's not going to be, blood and guts and profanity. That's not what they do. And so it's going to be fun on Saturday. I look forward to seeing you there. I've always wanted to go there, and since I was watching that show on television during this first run, it was pretty cool.
It's awesome to go there under these pretenses too, because I feel like we're going to really get to experience the Southfork Ranch in a unique way. And then, like you said, this is a family show. Wrestling Revolution is family entertainment, and to get a chance to see Southfork in the context of a wrestling show might be once in a lifetime.
I agree with you. WorldClassProWrestling.com, folks, has your tickets, and they'll be available on Saturday at the Southfork Ranch as well. But if you want to get them in advance, which is not a bad idea, WorldClassProWrestling.com. And I see on the 22nd on Sunday, good Lord, man, you're going to be in Toronto, and we'll be throwing out the first pitch for the Blue Jays game at the Rogers Center, the old Sky Dome, where the site of WrestleMania 8 and 18, I guess.
I'm a little bit nervous about the first pitch. Have you ever YouTubed worst first pitches? There's some pretty bad first pitches out there.
Yeah, there are. I looked at that. I did. I looked at that as I think maybe a mental masochist or something. I looked at it before I threw my first pitch out in West Virginia about a month or 8 weeks ago. Right. And I figured, here's what I'm going to do. I want to simply. They want you off the mound because the mound's precious, and I get it.
Okay.
So you don't have to throw it 60 feet 6 inches. You stand in front of the mound, and so I decided, John, I want to throw a knuckleball. When I used to umpire college and high school baseball, sometimes I'd throw the ball back to the pitcher with a knuckleball. And they'd look at me with big eyes like, hey, the old dude gets it type thing, So I stood and I threw my knuckleball. I said, well, it's either going to be feast or famine. If I get near the catcher and he catches it, then I'm going to be a hero. It's going to look great. Like I know what I'm doing. And if it looks bad, they're just going to say, well, that's just JR. He's an old wrestling guy. Hell, he don't know anything about baseball. Just let it go. So I had an out. It went fine. Yeah, it went good. And so I just only suggest play a little catch with somebody before you go out there so you don't screw up your shoulder. And believe it or not, shoulders and elbows can be done if you try to throw it too hard. And I wouldn't try to throw it too hard if I were you. Be accurate. Accuracy is better than the heat.
I can't help. I keep thinking about that movie Dave, where Kevin Kline threw out the first pitch.
Yeah,
and it was just like a perfect strike. For some reason, that's what I want to have happen in my head. But I agree with you. I think I should probably just shoot for a safe throw that makes it all the way to the catcher.
Yeah. No short hops. No short hops in Toronto Sunday at the ball game. So you got a busy day. You're busy every day. Does your wife help you with your schedule?
It hasn't really been as much of an issue previously as it is now, and I might even venture to say that probably stands true for a lot of professional wrestlers in the business, because there's so much different stuff going on right now. She is usually pretty busy with her own schedule. So busy that she doesn't have a ton of time to help me, but we do both try to get on as many of the same shows as possible. And in wrestling, sometimes that's not possible. So I feel like it's nice. Maybe about half the time we're at the same spot, and then the other half the time we're wrestling in different cities, and just doing that wrestling hustle. Yeah,
no kidding. I hear you. Chase the money, man. Chase the green. Are you guys still based in Cali?
Yeah, we're living in Sherman Oaks, which is in the valley. We're at a nice spot with a couple other pro wrestlers. We're all chipping in on this house. We got a wrestling ring in the backyard. We got a bunch of stunt weapons and movie props all over the place. And I think she's ready to move into our own place. After we got married, she was like, okay, we've been in like Never Land for 2 years. Maybe it's time to grow up.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk to her Saturday for you. Don't get in such a big hurry growing up, because she may be hinting it's time to enlarge this family here. You know.
I know. At some point, that's part of the plans. I've always wanted to be a father.
There you go. Nothing like it, man. But I'm going to tell you, as we start this conversation, and considering my situation of a year ago when my wife was killed in an accident,
I remember.
There's nothing like the relationship that a man and woman that the significant others can have. I got to grow out of the man or a woman. It may be a man, or a woman, and that's fine too. It really is for me. I don't care.
Right.
But from the team I played on was to have that woman in your life. And when my wife, all those years when I was in charge of talent relations and working on the air and multitasking in WWE, she was there, man. And having her there in that regard was a life changer for me. And I'm sure that this is a situation here where your wife understands the business, and she understands your ups and your downs, your good moods, your bad moods, when you're sore, when you're hurting, all these things. It's just a great way to communicate. She understands who you are, and I'm sure it's reciprocal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you couldn't explain it any better. And I remember meeting Jen on the road, I don't know, dozens of times. And always feeling like you were one of the guys that really did it right, because you had a true partner. And and you're right, like having somebody that has your back like that and understands you is the most important thing.
Couple of topics, and thank you, John. She was a good woman, better than I deserved, and she's irreplaceable. So I just quit trying. I just quit. I really, I'm thinking, well, I met her by accident, and maybe I'll meet another person, but I don't have the fire. It's got to be the right deal, and you know how that stuff goes. You find the right person, and sometimes you're not even looking.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I wanted to ask you a couple of other wrestling things. So we got your schedule. It's crazy. It's intense. What about a couple of things? What do you think and you're as a wrestler, from your perspective, from your eyes, what is the primary difference in the bell-to-bell application of a WWE match, even a high-level match, and the bell-to-bell application of a New Japan match, or anybody else? It seems like New Japan right now is the darling. They're trying to grow their brand. They're trying to enlarge it in North America. We just had the San Francisco thing here a while back, and at the Cow Palace, and they're looking to grow and so forth. But what makes their brand different than other product? Is it the booking? Is it the talent? Or what do you think it might be?
That's in a lot of ways that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Because if you can pinpoint what it is that makes a brand catch fire and gets people excited, then if you can replicate that, then you'll have a hit in your hands. I think for me, the talent of New Japan and the different type of structure from your traditional WWE match. It's hard to say specifically, but I've noticed that the specifics that stick out to me as a wrestler when I'm watching, they don't cover quite as much. The emphasis is still on winning, because I feel like that's always important in pro wrestling. But a false, something that might not beat a person in New Japan isn't always jumped on by the opponent to try to get a win. In WWE, I think they do that more frequently. A lot of the New Japan matches, the big ones especially, seem like they get more time. Okada, Omega, for example, is a good example of that. They give those guys so much time. And I remember reading an interview about whether or not Okada wanted to go to WWE, and he said that he didn't think he would fit on WWE television because of the style of match that he likes to have. And that's something that requires more time to tell a longer story. Mm-hmm. It's hard, man. This is a good question, JR. It's hard to just think of a bunch of stuff off the top of my head. No, it is.
It's an intrigue. I had a conversation with Sean Waltman this week on text, which I'm embarrassed to say. Why didn't it pick up the phone and call him? I don't know. You know, that's jeez. So I asked him that question too, and he didn't have an answer, a concrete answer. He ironically said he was talking to Steve Austin about the same question I had not talked to Steve about. It's just one of those things, you know. I think it has a lot to do with it's like the booking, the coaching, and the management of the talent is very unique in New Japan. And like you said, they don't overdo false finishes.
Right.
You know, when you get into a situation where, see, I don't understand sometimes when a guy goes for a cover, why do you have to even let him get one? Why can't you kick out right away when you feel body on body, get out of it? Because in amateur wrestling you would, because there's only a one count in amateur wrestling. So I think sometimes the overuse of false finishes kind of takes the edge off when you're going home and the false finishes need to mean more. That's my take on it. False finishes are an interesting thing about this. And the other thing is that they don't forget what hurts. If a big move is taken, they don't recover in 30 seconds. They sell it.
That I totally agree with, and I think that's a big part of the needing, like the example Okada gave about maybe not fitting into WWE programming, because it's hard to tell a story like that in even 10 minutes. For me to really get invested in a match when you're telling some kind of story where some guy's got an injured leg or a neck, whatever it is, if you have that much time to keep going back to that body part and almost go old school with the story, that old school psychology of find a target on a person, and once you have the weakness, exploit it, then it becomes more interesting.
That's what you would do in any other sporting endeavor. You'd exploit the weaknesses or perceived weaknesses of your adversary. So let's say we're playing football, and the secondary is not very good, so I guess I'm going to try to throw the ball on their lousy-ass secondary. That's what you would do if it was real. And I just think that...
In boxing, if a guy gets cut over his left eye, you're going to start throwing your right hooks because you can't see him coming.
One of the topical things, I don't know how well you know him or not, Roman Reigns has been booked in a unique way. This whole Brock Lesnar thing has been somewhat unique as well. Now, I know from my 40-plus years in the business that the boys talk, and they talk about the business and, things of that nature, which is good. What's the scuttlebutt on this, or what do you get from some of your guys that you might talk to about items of the world of wrestling? And as much as, what do you do with Reigns and Lashley on Raw Monday? And and who wins that match is what I'm asking. And then the winner's going to face Lesnar, which I assume will be Lesnar dropping the title. I don't know, and because we're all saying that he might not. I don't have a clue. But how do you dress as a booker or a creative guy? And you're damn sure creative. How do you address the Roman Reigns situation?
That's a tricky one, and I feel like he was a victim of the John Cena syndrome a little bit, and by that I mean when John started, he was pushed so hard, so fast for so long, it was perceived that he didn't deserve it originally. And now he's grown into one of the greatest workers of all time, I believe. And I would say kind of the same for Roman. When he started, he was pushed really hard, and fans had like an adverse reaction to that because he's standing there in the ring across from, I don't know, AJ or Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens or somebody that has been perceived to have fought their way up from the indies and scrapped and fought for every little thing they could get. But now he's been working on top for so long that he's grown into quite a hand in the ring, I believe.
I do too.
Also, I feel like he's, from my perspective of people that I talk to, he's pretty well liked in the locker room. And now he's got this stigma from all that, and it's kind of become cool, I believe, for like the fans to boo Roman or be bored by Roman. Which
absolutely. That's it, man. You got it right there. You got it. It's cool to boo him.
Right, and it was like maybe he deserved that like 5 years ago, but I don't think he deserves it anymore now. But now it's a situation that's tough to deal with.
Okay, I'm watching Pittsburgh's presentation of Extreme Rules on Sunday, and Kurt Angle's one of the biggest heroes in that city's history.
Right.
And they love to say, "You suck," to his music. "You suck."
Right.
So I don't believe that they think he sucks in his hometown, where he won a represented his city in the country, winning a gold medal. I don't think they think he sucks. I think they think it's cool to be heard from them that he sucks. It's what they think they should be doing. It's the thing to do, in other words.
I totally agree. And in that specific case of Kurt Angle getting the "You suck" chance, I almost feel like the fans are chanting that extra loud because they feel like it's half-assed what Kurt wants. And they want to make noise for him because you're right. I think he's the biggest hero that Pittsburgh has had, maybe ever, but certainly on Sunday he will be.
Yeah, absolutely. The weekend is here. We're going to be upon us soon. I'll see you in Dallas on Saturday. I'm looking forward to your work at Slammiversary. I'll be watching that on Sunday on the Fight app. I'm a big fan of the Fight app. If you got Wi-Fi, folks, and a smart device, you can watch wrestling, martial arts, and all kinds of stuff from around the globe right there on your smart device, your phone, your iPad, whatever. And I finally figured out how to get my iPad signal to my television on my Apple TV. So now I think I'm a technical genius. I'm not. But I will watch your performance on Sunday on a 65-incher instead of my iPad. It's a little different.
I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to the Slammiversary. We didn't really talk about the match, but it's me versus Phoenix versus Rich Swann versus Taji Ishimori, who's with New Japan. And I think the talent in this match speaks for itself, but I'll just leave it to say that I am planning on stealing the Slammiversary, and looking forward to coming back to Impact with that match.
There you go. Listen, man, I'm really proud of what all you're doing. Give me a real quick update on Boone the Bounty Hunter DVDs. Where can people get them and enjoy them? Because I'm really impressed with your work there, man. You did a really, really good job, and I wish more fans would take a moment to access that DVD because I think they'd really, really dig it.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. It's Boone the Bounty Hunter is available on DVD at Walmart and especially at Dollar General. We also finalized our deal with Netflix, so Boone is available on Netflix now through March of 2019. And the movie's been performing better than the distribution company Vision Films expected, and better than Sony expected. It's really exceeding expectations, and it's been working out really well. And probably more important than that, it's a thing I've done outside of wrestling that I'm the most proud of.
I bet, man. You should be. And by the way, on that note, has Dwayne Dog Chapman sent any text messages inquiring why you're stealing his gimmick?
No, but if he ever does, I'll be ready. And I wouldn't say steal it. I'm just borrowing it. I'm a big fan of it.
And whatever you do when you're dealing with the dog, just watch out for Leland.
Yeah,
he does the heavy lifting.
He's a little bit nuts.
And smartly so. Well, listen, man, look, safe travel. I hope all your flights are on time. You have no mechanicals. Good luck at MLW this week, folks. MLW.com gives you all the information on tickets, matches, venues, times, everything. MLW.com, and then we'll see Johnny and his new bride at Southfork Ranch. It'll be really cool because that's such a historical place, and like you said, Jerry Bostic thinking outside the box on that deal, without a doubt.
Yeah,
and remember, folks, that WorldClassProWrestling.com has tickets for that, and I'm suggesting to all of you that wherever John is appearing, most of the tickets are also available the day of the event at the venue. So don't miss out on that stuff. Check out Boone the Bounty Hunter. And John, look, man, have a great travel weekend. And thanks for jumping on with us, man. You're always a great guest, and I can't wait to talk to you in person on Saturday.
Look forward to seeing you. Kira told me to tell you she says hi, by the way, and she's looking forward to meeting you on Saturday. And
good.
Have a good one. I'll be in touch.
I will look forward to all that on Saturday and beyond. And anything I can do to help you out, I'm a phone call away, as always.
Same goes for me. Great talking to you, Jared.
Okay, John. Take care, buddy.
Take care. Want to catch up on our latest 5-star reviews? Over 1,000
5-star ratings so far. And we've only been around here since April on the mighty Westwood One. Teddy's back in town, says good old JR shows his gigantic wealth of knowledge in sports entertainment and life. We love you, JR. Thank you. God dang, I could have written that better myself. Thank you very much. That's very nice. And thanks for the 5-star rating, my man. El Mejor Nobre says, I wasn't the biggest fan about 3 or 4 years ago. That's a good way to start. The show seemed kind of slow-moving. Agreed. How about directionless? But I recently started listening again a few months back, and it's my favorite podcast. Well, you should thank producer Ted and Raphael Morphy. We got a great team. We have the best teams ever I've been around in this audio business, and they make this thing really, really good. It's just amazing how much you learn about wrestling, listen to the show, not to mention the interesting perspective of ring psychology to one of the best callers in wrestling. And on occasion, you'll hear JR say, "Oh my God, did you see that?" in hilarious voice. Thank you very much. Thanks for those 5-star ratings at Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. We need that 5-star rating and a review. We thank you for that. Be sure to check out the new Westwood One podcast app. It's home to some great audio, folks. Some real Slobberknocker audio comes your way. You got 83 weeks with Bischoff and Connie. Oh, my God. Connie's getting married. He'll be off the market. Great podcasters, including 83 Weeks, as I mentioned. Talk is Jericho, who will be my guest next week here on the program, Chris Jericho. Keeping It 100 with Conan. My friend Carlos does a hell of a job there with his sidekicks. The Raven Effect, still one of the smartest guys in the room. Oh, Scotty. And so much more. So all you got to do is this. Just search Westwood One Podcast in the app and Google Play stores today. Download it. It's free. You'll be very happy that you did. And it's a great way to access a lot of great podcasts in one spot. Westwood One Podcast app. Get it now. And by the way, follow me on Twitter if you don't mind at JR's BBQ. I saw a lot of guys lost a ton of followers. Mine went down from 1.7 million to 1.6 something million. So I lost a good 100,000 maybe. I don't know what happened. That stuff's way out of my pay grade. Hell, I don't know. I can't control it, so why should I worry about it, right? So if you'd like to follow me at JRSBBQ, that's the place. And then, of course, we're on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks to Sean Creedle. Sean, my man in Baltimore. One of the right-hand men of Danny McDivitt. Jim Ross BBQ. That's what it is. Jim Ross BBQ, Facebook and Instagram. And again, we want to thank you guys for making Slobberknocker, My Life in Wrestling. Amazon told us this week it's the #1 selling biography in all of sports, not just wrestling, but all of sports. And it's just amazing. I'm so blessed. It's so humbling, really. And like I said earlier, the only thing I wish is that my wife Jan was such a big part of the creation of the book, the direction we took, the honesty we brought to it, because she insisted on all that. And be honest, and maybe you could help some people. And when I talked about my prescription medication issues and things of that nature, it could happen to any of us, folks. Can't be ashamed of it. Don't run away from it. Stand up if you got an issue. Find help. Get help. Change your ways, and you can do that. If I did it, why the hell can't you? I don't understand. Remember what Granny said, Jimmy? Somebody's going to do it. Why not you? So I'm saying to you, why not you? Why can't you quit smoking? Why can't you monitor your drinking, your diet, all kinds of things that can help you live longer? Really important. It's pretty common sense stuff, right? So thank you for that. Slobberknocker is doing great at Amazon.com. The soft cover will be out, I guess, this fall. We'll know more about that soon. So thank you very much. This Saturday, I'll be in the Metroplex at Southfork Ranch. Wow, that's something, huh? What iconic scene that's going to be. And that'll be fun. Wish my mama was around to see that. She loved Dallas, boy. Whew. Big fan. It was an upscale soap opera in prime time. So, and Lucy Ewing will be there. Boy, did I have a crush on her back in the day. Let's see how that plays out on Saturday. Is she married? Who knows? I don't know. I'll Google it. And remember, folks, next week, Chris Jericho is going to be here, the mastermind of the ChrisJerichoCruise.com, where you can join us, Jerry Lawler, myself, so many other major wrestling stars there. And boy, I got the announcement this week. I thought, this can't be true. This can't be right. One time only, Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks will take on Kenny Omega, Cody, and Marty Scurll. And that's big. That's really big. If there's not 20 reasons to join us on the cruise, that's the one you need to remember. That match is going to be epic. So why wouldn't you want to see it? You got to get there. It's not going to be on TV, by the way. You got to be on the cruise. And the way you do that is go to ChrisJerichoCruise.com and see what's available. And the cabins are going fast, but there is room for you if you act now. That's simple. So we'll look forward to talking to Chrissy next week. I'll be in Los Angeles next week doing some more voiceovers for Access TV. And we'll try to do better. We'll try to do better. That's all I can tell you. I'm being half-ass facetious. We always try to do better. And Josh Barnett and I'll be voicing over some matches, I'm assuming from the G1. So should be fun. And I'll be there. And then I'm flying to London next week on Wednesday. And I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the London Comic Con. So it should be a lot of fun. Meeting a lot of fans, a lot of friends. It's going to be a good trip. Good trip. So until then, remember, new show drops every week, every Wednesday on the Mighty Westwood One, from the Mighty Westwood One. And we appreciate you tuning in. Remember to subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating. And until next week, ladies and gentlemen, when Chrissy Jericho joins me, it'll be free for all. I can tell you that. We got a lot of ground to cover. And he's a pretty good booker. I'm going to ask him some booking questions, just like I asked John Hennigan today. Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Impact. Johnny gave us some solid information on booking today. So we'll have more of that with Chris Jericho next week to a bigger degree. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get back in my black truck. I'm going to head back down I-35 South to Norman. And until next Wednesday, I am good old JR Jim Ross saying thank you so much, folks, for joining us. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening to all the great podcasts here on Westwood One. I put them all over. Even though it's not always reciprocal, I'm going to still put your asses over because that's just what I do. As Mark Henry would say, it's what I do. It's what I do. Strong guy. He almost hurt me one night in the ring. Then I said, hey, Mark, loosen up. And then I got ridiculed online. JR's a puss. He couldn't handle it. And I was trying to sell the strongest man in the world, folks. He wasn't hurting me. He's a professional. But that was not the image we wanted to create, right? So in any event, I digressed again. I'm off the road. I'm back in my truck. I'm back down I-35 South. And I'll see you next week. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm good old JR Jim Ross saying, so long, everybody.
The Westwood One Podcast Network. Talk is Jericho with Chris Jericho.
And my guest, original Metallica bassist, Ron McGovney.
I never really tried out to be in the band. I was there, was available, and it was never going to be a long-term thing until they found somebody,
that fit that vibe better.
Right.
Talk is Jericho. Download and subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and the Westwood One Podcast app. Free from the Westwood One Podcast Network.